2001, 2002. Much later. 4. In 2002, during the monsoon, on seashore flanked by small mountains, I met Anjuna the Candy looking at the horizon. She was in a resonant trance with the oscillations of the universe in rain, and she looked so beautiful that I felt like touching her to see if she was real. When we met, we embraced each other like long-lost brother and sister. There was no melodrama in it. There was a deep and tense fountain of affection that bound us. My readers may find this hard to believe, as I find it too, but it is true that there was nothing sexual in that embrace. As I remember it so clear, full of the soft touch of her glowing skin, the warmth of her hold and the candor of her surrender to a comrade of the past. So many things happened one after the other. She took me by the hand to her hotel. She showed me each and every room. She introduced me to the staff and occupants. She took me to the games room, the library, the dining hall, the poetry room, the meadows leading up to the sea, the corridors, the kitchen, the attic, and finally the garden, shadowed by a canopy of trees and carpeted with a thick layer of misty grass. Everywhere we went, she asked me to inhale the wind as deeply as I could and feel its scent as intensely as I could. The hotel from north to south and from east to west was entrapped in the vortex of a slowly moving wind very similar to the initial pacing of a leopard. And for the people, she implored me to look at their faces as hard as I could. She showed me the suite where she lived. It had clouds in it. All the furniture was made out of clouds. I did as I was told. At last, we sat down on a wooden bench in her garden and we had a long conversation over coffee. I told her something that was hanging on my mind for a long time. You living in a hotel suite, whereas you should be living in a sprawling bungalow? Don't you feel disoriented living here like a recluse? Anjuna replied calmly, looking into my eyes. The hotel business is all I have. My parents are dead. I'm not married. Yes, in a sense, I'm a lonely person. I find solace in work that brings me closer to more lonely people. I don't dream anymore. Yet, I love to amass wealth out of proportion. Is that bad, Sandy? We did not talk for a few moments. I was curious to know what kind of a life Anjuna led in reality. She suddenly said, I met Ranjan 3 years back at a social do. He was in such pain and agony. Her marriage to Saundarya did not work. They have not separated, of course. I don't know why. I asked her, intrigued, what happened after that? There was a half smile on her face. Sandy, life is a great leveler in many ways. Ranjan comes to me nowadays once in 2 months, stays with me for 2 days. To put it bluntly, he's made a mistress out of me. 2 days of isolated luxury, interesting conversation, and out-of-the-world sex. After these 2 days, I feel like a speck of dirt, more humiliated than when he returned from Cochin with a South Indian wife. I don't know why I gave in. I prompted her. I looked at her clearly. She had mellowed. She looked like a pale moon on an afternoon sky. Why? As I told you, Sandy, I don't know. When I found Ranjan unhappy after so many years, a flame of hope was ignited in my soul. At least till he made it clear it was not possible for him to leave his wife. I guess his sticking to his wife has something to do with his anxiety of losing his property and wealth. Well, I don't care anymore. I can't do without him, as I feel worthless in his presence now. Is it true that if you love somebody dearly, you end up reflecting the state of that person's soul? I fear I'm going to be devastated once again. After a gap, she said, Sandy, Ranjan is happy now. I am told so is Saundarya. Only I am not happy anymore. I had nothing to say to Anjana the Candy. I left soon after eating a sumptuous meal. 2 years later, Anjana suddenly died in sleep, happy, smiling, the newspapers reported. The news shocked me, as if I had got up one morning to find myself without my arms by my sides. A few months later, I was fed with another piece of news. This too received an hour-by-hour coverage by the media. Ranjan had successfully inherited the desired chain of hotels. After maneuvering through a complex matrix of legal battles, Anjana in her will had decided to be so. Somewhere deep within, I felt I had a duty to confront Ranjan the giraffe, which I did not. This was the reason I took such a long time in telling this story.